So The Walking Dead has been around for 9 seasons now, which is pretty crazy to me, especially because I have a really weird relationship with that series. I did not start watching it until season 3. I didn't jump in until about half, maybe the last half of season 3, but I binged the first 2 seasons more than I've binged any other show in my life. And that's including Game of Thrones, which I just finished. I have the entire Blu-ray box set, seasons 1 through, I think, 7, is it? And me and my girlfriend binged them pretty quick, but nothing, I was never as obsessed with something as I was with 2 series, Daredevil and Walking Dead. The Walking Dead was something that just kind of came out of nowhere for me. I remember I was looking for a TV show to binge. This was right around the time I first got into Netflix. And I remember trying Lost. I remember trying to watch Lost. And I kind of got into it, and then I couldn't finish it. I didn't even finish maybe 4 episodes. I was like, I need something that appeals to me a little bit more personally. I like zombies. Let me watch The Walking Dead. At this point, they only had the very first season of Walking Dead on Netflix. So I binged it, and I watched the entire thing in like one sitting, I'm pretty sure, because I absolutely loved every minute of it. Then season 2 got released shortly after that. It was like not even a month later. I was just right on its coattails. And I remember I was a freshman in college when I binged the second season of Walking Dead on Netflix. And I remember I wouldn't sleep, I wouldn't eat, I was just watching the show. All I did was watch it. I would skip class. It was bad. It was real bad. A lot of people hate season 2, but I adored season 2. I absolutely loved it. So then I caught up on season 3 by bootlegging the first half, and then I was caught up, and I watched the rest of Walking Dead. The rest is history, I guess. Kind of. I watched season 4, and I watched season 5, and then I remember I watched maybe part of season 6. I don't remember. Did I finish? Maybe I watched the first half of season 6. I don't know. And then I skipped to the episode where Negan shows up and kills a lot of the camp, right? And that was like really interesting to me. So then I maybe watched bits and pieces of season 7, like different, just important scenes in it. All I'm saying is, what happened? Why did I go from watching it religiously every single week, watching Walking Dead live, Talking Dead, watching Comic Book Men after that, loving it so much, to just not even caring what was going on in the story? What happened? I think this is my opinion, but my sister watched Walking Dead, my mom watched Walking Dead, they watched it longer than I did even. My mom stopped watching it after about halfway through season 7, and my sister stopped watching it probably by the end of season 7. And even they dropped off on it. And I think it was because of a couple things. I think there was a little zombie fatigue, which is still around. I think we overused zombies in this culture for quite some time, and they were the same kind of zombies, and I think it was a really big boom for a couple years, just like vampires were for a while. And then I think it kind of went downhill after I don't know, after a while. I can't really say specifically, but Walking Dead took the biggest hit because Walking Dead had a very specific formula, which was we have a group. Here are some intermittent character arc episodes where it's just about the characters and about a specific character, and you get to know them a little bit more. Oh, we found a location we can stay. Here's somewhere we can be. Here's somewhere we can be safe. Let's, get this place safe. Let's run into something. Here's some people who want to take it back. Falls apart. I guess we're on the road again looking for something else. That happened for about 6 seasons straight, or maybe 5 seasons straight. And then they hit Alexandria, and it's kind of been the same since. But then, by that point, I think they kind of shot themselves in the foot, because I think people started to get tired of it. I think people started to realize that, this is kind of dragging on. They have to, they have so many episodes they have to fill, and they don't know what to do with them, and they don't know, we've learned about these characters, let's introduce new ones, but then these characters aren't as good as the original characters. The other thing they kind of wrote themselves into a corner with is with the main characters, because when this series started, it was like Game of Thrones. Anybody could die. And Game of Thrones is starting to go down that road too. But at the start, anybody could die. You never knew what was going to happen. Your favorite characters, you kind of thought, okay, Rick, he'll probably survive because it's kind of through his perspective. But he could even die, especially after Game of Thrones came out. So that happened for a few seasons, and then it became kind of a cop-out. It became kind of something where they found cop-outs to keep characters alive because people started getting upset. Case in point, the character of Beth. Herschel Green, the farmer from the second season, his daughter, she started to get a pretty good following in the show. And everyone really kind of started to like her, which, I was impartial to it, but people started to like her, and people started to really... wish she was around more, so they'd give her more arcs and things like that. And before you know it, they killed her. And they got a lot of backlash. And they got a lot of people saying they're not going to watch it anymore. They just killed her for no reason. They just killed her because the fans liked her. Like, this is bullshit. What's going on with this? So I think that's when there was a turning point in the series where they said, we need to start making this something where we can have shippers. We can have people who want to see these characters go the distance. We want to have these... Daryl Dixon started out as a guest appeared character. Merle was supposed to be the only character that they were going to make, a reoccurring character. He died long ago. But then Daryl showed up because they liked Norman Reedus so much, which he is a great character, don't get me wrong. And they did so much with him, and people liked him so much that they were too scared to kill him. And then they started running out of things to write for him. So you had this weird thing where you had characters like Rick, and not necessarily Rick, but you had characters like Carl and Carol and Daryl. That's kind of funny. Carl, Carol, and Daryl. And you had, a few others who they were like, well, we were planning on killing these guys because their arc has ran through, and we've done everything we want to with them, and usually with this formula we have to kill them. But the fans will go apeshit and we'll lose half of our viewers, so we got to keep them going. So that's where you see these really stagnant episodes with characters who you really want to know more about, but you don't because they don't have anything else they want to do with them. So they just kind of stand in the background. They can't kill them to make it more interesting because people will get mad. And they got stuck for a few seasons, for probably 3 or 4 seasons. They got stuck doing this. And then you have, just some, leadership change within the writing room and in the producing and the directing areas, where you had some people who knew what they wanted to do, and you had some people who got thrown into it, and they were just trying to find what is best for the series to keep it going. And they started trying to tease things before they actually happened. You thought Glenn died. Oh no, he saved himself under a dumpster. And then you thought, who's Negan going to kill? Oh, we're not going to find out till next season. You had those things because they were trying to keep the series alive. Now we're in a really weird spot, because the reason I'm making this video is because of the whole Rick scenario that's going on right now. I see where they're going with it, and I see that they're trying to fix some of the problems they've had, but also I think they could shoot themselves in the foot again. So Rick, Andrew Lincoln, the actor who plays Rick, his kids, he's from Britain, and his kids are older, and he wants to spend more time with them. He has to film in Atlanta like half the year. Every year for 10 years he's been doing that. And now they're at an age where he's like, I can't keep doing this. I can't. Because I want to spend time with my family, which is good. I'm glad that he feels that way. And I think he was also, first I thought he was maybe a little sick of the role. And so, everyone thinks, oh, they're going to kill him off. This is his last season in season 9. Let's just, go with that and see what happens. And so, this last weekend was the final Rick episode. This is going to contain spoilers, by the way. I apologize if I've spoiled things already. Most people stopped caring about Walking Dead a while ago, so, I just figured I would do this, and, I may just talk about what I want to talk about. So it ends with him blowing up a bridge, right? He's hurt. I hadn't watched this whole episode, by the way, so don't judge me if I get some of this wrong, but he's hurt. He's surrounded by walkers who are going to attack the town, and he has the zombies follow him, and he goes through this wonderful little character retrospective where he sees Shane from season 1 and 2. He sees Herschel from seasons 1 through 4. He sees a couple other people. And he goes through this flashback. You think he's going to die. Blows up this bridge. He looks like he's dead. And then at the end of the episode, you find out a helicopter comes, picks him up, sweeps him away. And then right after the episode airs, we get an announcement from AMC. They're going to make a Rick Grimes trilogy of movies. Now, this sounds ridiculous, right? It sounds silly. It sounds crazy. From my perspective, I think it's their best decision that they've had in a couple seasons. I've been hearing this season's better than the last 2 or 3 seasons, which is great. I've been hearing that the characters actually have stuff to do. I hear they've been trying to take more risks. I hear that the episodes have been, they've been trying to take more advantage of the times that they have within the episodes. So this kind of solves all their problems. They killed off Carl last season, I think, which is the only reason I thought Rick would want to stay alive. I guess Judith. Judith isn't Rick's, it's Shane's and his wife's, but he still loves her, of course. So I was like, okay, well, he'll stay for Judith. Judith's a baby. I mean, they've been carrying this baby around since season 3 or 4, trying to keep it alive. So it's been a pain. And, a kid that age, even if you get into your toddler age, is not ideal for a zombie show. So they're stuck there. They still love Daryl. Norman Reedus still wants to do it, but they don't have anything else to do with him because he's not... A lot of things you would expect Daryl to do, Rick would do over him. So that's out the window. You have some of these characters that could progressively get into have more character development, but you can't because they got to focus on the main story between Rick and what he's doing. So let's take Rick, put him in movies, and let's take Daryl, put him in Rick's position with Michonne, and then let's fast forward 7 years. So Judith is now about Carl's age. The reason Chandler Riggs, who played Carl, left is because he wanted to go to college, which is totally understandable. So let's do all of these things and keep the series going even longer. Most people thought, okay, Rick's gone, I'm out for sure. The show's only going to last another season, and then they're going to cancel it because no one's going to be watching it. But I think this could save it because you have the story ties they've been putting in, such as let's keep Daryl alive, let's give Judith a more proper age to fit the story, so they can still continue what they want to do, but they don't have this problem of Rick that they have to keep alive and keep happy for the actor because he's having to be in Atlanta most of his life. And then you have Daryl, they're like, I don't know what to do with him. We want to incorporate him, but he's just kind of there because we have characters to fill in the things he would do. And so now let's make him the lead. Let's have Michonne at his side, and then let's have Judith be aged, and let's go a couple years in advance so we don't have to make it as, build up. You don't have to build up to it. I think that's an excellent idea. I'm not saying it's going to work. I'm not saying it's going to be great. It's wacky. It's crazy. But I love the character of Rick Grimes. I believe in him. I think he's become a character that is hard to kill because he is he is very much a Superman of all sorts. He is the guy who always has a solution to the problem. And if he's there, you feel safe. But you can't kill him because he's so popular and he's such a good character. You want to see him prevail. You want to see him do great things. So by putting him in movies where you know he's going to be in a trilogy. They announced it's a trilogy. When you put him in a trilogy, these can be more World War Z action-packed movies with that character and his same motivations and the same actor. And you can make them less of realism. This guy has to die because this is supposed to be a nitty-gritty Walker world. This can be more of a, Shaun of the Dead. Like, let's make it kind of goofy at times. Then it has to be this. This is a show where these are survivors. These people will die at some point. You get them out of that. And then you can have these other characters go through that, and you can kind of develop them more, give them more screen time, not have to pay Andrew Lincoln as much for the series, and then you're good to go. So I don't know. What are your thoughts? Let me know in the comments. I know a lot of people don't care about Walking Dead. I know this was kind of rambly, but I don't know. I'm kind of considering going with this. I'm not saying I'm going to go back and watch the seasons I missed of Walking Dead. I may go see the Rick Grimes movies though. And I'm excited to see what they do. I don't care if it's a failure or not. I have to respect the series for attempting to keep it going for so long. And, I think that's a really interesting thing. I know it makes them a lot of money, and I know they're worried they're going to lose it and lose a lot of money, but who knows? Maybe this will work out. Maybe this will be something that really is unique and kind of reinvigorates a show that should have died seasons ago. I hope so, because the feelings I got from the first few seasons of Walking Dead are some of the best feelings I've ever had in a TV show. And they're some of the best things I've seen in a TV show. And they really defined a certain chunk of my life. So I would love to see it come back and be reinvigorated into something that people care about. But I can't stand there and make excuses for it when it doesn't. So those are just my opinions. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. I guess we'll just see what happens. And until next time, that's going to be it.